Engagements are happening left and right. But getting engaged doesn't look quite the same as it used to. Traditional is, well, no longer really in tune with reality. So today we're talking about getting engaged. We're talking about engagement rings, proposals, and figuring out what traditions, if any, make sense for you. Hi there, I'm Jamie Chang, your destination wedding planning guru and designer of joy at Mango Muse Events, the creator of Passport to Joy, the step-by-step online wedding planning course for couples, and the founder of Let's I Do This, intimate and virtual weddings in the San Francisco Bay Area. And I share real and honest and useful wedding planning tips, tricks, and advice you can use to help make planning your wedding easier and more joyful, so you can create a wedding you love. Because let's face it, wedding planning can be hard. It can be downright painful at times, and nobody wants that. So we're bringing the joy back to wedding planning. Are you ready? Okay, so let's do this. Now, today we're talking about something that comes a little bit before wedding planning, the proposal. We're talking about getting engaged and about engagement rings. Because while you can go traditional doesn't necessarily make a whole lot of sense anymore. At least not for everyone. Because a lot can happen, does happen before an engagement even takes place. Couples talk about getting engaged and about getting married in detail. Couples look at rings together. Couples talk about budget together and, discuss it as opposed to it being sort of a one-sided thing. Couples live together for years. Couples have kids and even build a life. And all of this can really happen before an official engagement even happens. So getting engaged in the traditional way may not just make a whole lot of sense anymore. Now, just in case you don't know what the traditional route is, here it is. It's one partner, going out and picking and paying for a ring, an engagement ring, unbeknownst to their other partner, and then surprising them with a proposal and an engagement ring, kind of like how you see in the movies, There's a lot of shock, right? And it's unexpected and it's sudden and not necessarily something that's discussed. Unless, the discussion is with the parents asking for permission, ahead of time. Sound kind of familiar? And it feels honestly a little outdated, right? Especially when you think about your relationship and what you've talked about and discussed already. No one really gets engaged without having a conversation about getting married first. Now, there's obviously nothing wrong with going that traditional route, outside of maybe the parent permission thing, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But not too many couples are that traditional anymore. And a lot happens before an engagement even happens. That doesn't mean that you can't still incorporate tradition into getting engaged, into your engagement. And the best part, and probably, the most cherished part about the traditional engagement is the surprise factor. Not knowing, sort of when and how it will happen is just really fun. It's the part, most couples want to hold on to from the traditional proposal. Of course, that might not matter to you at all, and getting engaged could just be this adult decision that you've made together. And that decision means you're engaged. You might not need the fanfare or the drama or the asking. And if so, that's totally okay. You have to do what feels right for you. Your engagement is your engagement. But for many, that surprise, is the special part. It doesn't have to be grand or fancy or elaborate. Just being surprised when it does happen is special. So let's say you want that surprise, right? How do you handle the engagement ring? You could go the traditional route of picking out a ring for your partner, or maybe proposing with, a family ring or a family heirloom. For many, though, that's just a hard decision to make for someone, because what if they don't like the ring? This is supposed to be for forever. How do you pick a forever ring out for someone else? It's kind of hard, let's be honest. So here's some things you can consider or you can do. So you can, with one option, you can propose with a placeholder ring. So this could be something simple you buy, or, something that's real, something that's fake, something that's silly. It's just something to give your partner when you propose. If you have a jeweler, with a good return or exchange policy, you could pick out a placeholder ring, or maybe even pick out a ring that you would have actually picked for them. That can also be returned, for a ring that you pick out together. Another option is you can propose with no ring. If you think about it, the ring isn't actually the special part of getting engaged. It's the engagement. People, yes, they expect a ring, but it's not actually what makes your heart leap in the moment. It's the surprise. It's the excitement of spending your life together. So you can propose without a ring and then pick one out together afterwards. Now, another option you have is you can choose, not to have an engagement ring at all. Maybe you've talked about it and an engagement ring just isn't your style. There's no law that says you have to have an engagement ring, so you could propose without a ring and just focus on your wedding rings for the wedding itself. Another option is you can pre-pick a ring. So you could always go shopping together beforehand and look at things, look at options together. And then, the proposal is still itself a surprise, but the ring is already chosen and decided upon together. Okay, we talked about tradition, we talked about different ways to get engaged, and we talked about proposal ring options. Now let's talk about the last piece, the parents part. Now, I personally think asking for permission is a tradition that just kind of needs to die, if it's not dead already. You are adults, and you're free to make your own decisions for your own life. The only person you really need permission from is each other. But if including parents is something you want to do, you can ask for a blessing. If they give you one, that's fantastic. And if they don't, well, that's okay too. You can still do what you want, but, fair warning, the wedding planning might be kind of awkward. Just keep that in mind. So how does tradition play into getting engaged? In however way you want it to, whether that's a little bit or a lot or none at all. Incorporate what you care about in the way you care to do it. And that's all that really matters. Remember, this is your relationship and your engagement. Do it your way. Okay, I'm going to wrap up this video with a question, and that's, what traditions, if any, do you care about when it comes to getting engaged? Let me know in a comment below. And if you enjoyed today's video, please like it, give us some thumbs up. You can check out our other wedding planning videos for even more tips, and hit subscribe so you can access to all the new ones. And if you're looking for help through the entire wedding planning process, including having access to a personal advisor, check out Passport to Joy. You can find all the links below, because you deserve to enjoy your engagement, no matter what your budget is. Thanks so much for being here, and I'll see you next time. Bye!